the next step of the poppy, we're going to be adding more structure. This is basically how any painting, any study like this progresses. You start off with basic outline, then you establish your basic lights and darks, and then you just keep working into that. And you can go on forever until you get to hyperrealism, but we won't be doing that. But the next step is we're going to take the 193. Just a quick aside, this is a limitation of just using one brand of pastels, and it's the same for any pastels, is that there'll be areas in the colour wheel where there's a bit of a jump, and there are certain pencils that you wish you had. So around the purples, for example, it's quite limited to go lighter or darker. There's pretty much the 160, and then it's pinky purples after that, which is what we're going to be using, pinky purples and blues. Whereas if you mixed the brands you were using, you'd be able to get a broader range. But for the purpose of a tutorial, we're just going to use the Pastel because it makes it much easier for you to be able to get the sets of pencils. So I'm looking at my reference photo, and as you'll see, what I'm going to do is start to pick out the tone between this one and this one. So between the dark grey and the purple. So it's those areas which are darker. See how pink that looks. We're going to glaze over with the purple again. So we're going for warm shadows, hence the pink, and the highlights will be cool, and they're catching the blue of the sky anyway, so they are actually cool in the reference photo. I'm just shading over those lovely soft edges that we had with the 175, and you can see that it's just melting together really nicely. So you want to take your time on this bit, as it'll start to bring out the proper structure of the flower. Okay, so now we've put down some of the 193, you can see that we have a bit more structure, but the colours are not joining together at the minute at all. So before we start to bring them together, I'm going to take it a little bit darker again. So I'm going to use the 192, and I'm working back in to these areas that we've just put down. Okay, so now we've just put that layer down with the 193. You can see we've got much more structure to the petals, but the colours are jarring and we still need to take it a little bit darker as well. So we're going to go back to both the 175, but we're also going to bring in the 169 as well. So where I put down the 175, I'm now going to go back over and fill it in fully because I'm really happy with the placement of it. And making sure that I've got soft edges, which does involve just gently brushing it over the other layers. And I literally am brushing it and making sure that the start and end of each stroke lifts from the paper. So I start with the pencil off and I finish with the pencil off. Don't forget to turn your work when you get to a stage like this, because otherwise you're going to drag your hand right the way through all of that pastel. You can also use, of course, the crystal paper. Okay, so now I've gone back over with the 175. I'm going to go in with the new pencil, the 169, which is dark but has got some colour to it. So I'm glazing over parts of the 175 and it's going to unify it with the rest of the painting. And I'm also using it for those areas that are not quite so dark as this grey, but are darker than the colours that we've already got down. I'm pressing quite hard to do this. Okay, so now you can see that the structure has become way darker. So obviously the next step is that we're going to take it lighter. So before I do that, I'll just take a photo of this for the blog. So if you prefer reading instructions or you find this is going a bit too fast, you can't remember which pencils I'm using, you can just head over to the blog, which is linked down below, and the full list of instructions will be there, along with the pencils that I'm using and other materials, and links to where you can find them with lovely discounts thanks to Paper Story.